fellow countrymen and women, what do we need at this time? The great need of the hour is for positive, constructive, dynamic, creative, and effective leadership. Those are the words of Ben Newman. Why am I starting on this note? Look, I come to you this morning with heavy heart. I also come to you with a sense of urgency. As I address you today, open your mind. Open your eyes to the obstacles of the times. You see, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in our nation's history. We find ourselves in a time where the actions of a few threaten to undermine the aspirations and well-being of the vast majority. Look. Across the different spectrums of the country, just take a look. From Zamfara to Imo, take a look. From Lagos to Delta, are you looking? From the heart of the Mambila Plateau to the spines of the tropical forests of Edo, what do I find? I find political elites driven by greed, self-interest, and a lust for power. The sad thing is that if they were disparate, I would have had some consolation. But they have banded together. They have banded together to wreak havoc on the largest segment of our population. You see them in the National Assembly. The National Assembly symbolizes an elite that have banded together to wreak havoc on the largest segment of our population. Their actions, cloaked in the guise of governance, have brought untold suffering to millions of our fellow citizens. See, every day they come up with excuses. They give you false hope. Such characters are not light of redemption. They are not even light. They are building mansions. I wish they were genuine billionaires. Yes, we need mansions to make our cities beautiful. They are surrounded by luxury and privilege from the wealth of the people. And you have majority of Nigerians struggling to make ends meet. Many Nigerians face daily challenges of unemployment, poverty, inadequate health care, and crumbling infrastructure. Never in the history of Nigeria has darkness besieged the whole country at the same time. It has never been this bad in terms of electricity. It is the worst time in the history of Nigeria. Our country is in darkness. Yet, they talk about hope. It is good to be hopeful. It is a peculiar mess. The electricity situation of Nigeria is a peculiar mess. It is a mess. A country that cannot power its homes, its industries, is not ready for development. Somehow, we have to make things right. They continue to amass wealth. The sad thing is that they amass wealth, they don't know how to use the wealth to create wealth. It is not in the amassing of the wealth that I break down. It is in the inability to create wealth from wealth. So one man who don't have the capacity to create wealth, amass wealth, they use that wealth to create poverty because they misuse the wealth. Wealth misuse leads to poverty. That is why the more the political class steals, the poorer the country becomes. You need creativity and innovation to manage wealth. So because they cannot manage wealth, they spend wealth on goods and services that drain the economy of its strength. Hey, in this class of politics and power, open your eyes. Olubadan is no more. Olubadan has gone to spend time with his ancestors. He has gone home. Kabiyesi, good night. The king of Ibadan has gone home. As Kabiyesi goes home, the radio man speaks of an elite that have banded together to suck the life out of the majority. It is a travesty of justice that in a nation blessed with abundant resources, a small group of individuals has hijacked our collective destiny for their own gain. They manipulate our political system, rig elections, and stifle dissent, all in the pursuit of maintaining their stranglehold on power. Olusegun Obasanjo has a message. He is a former president of Nigeria. I don't know if Baba's message resonates with you, but at least you can hear the message.
Project pardoning must not go unpunished. It is a reality which is a regular and systemic practice. Nobody should pull wool over the eyes of Nigerians. Ganging up to intimidate this and threaten the life of whistleblower is deplorable and undemocratic. What of the so-called constituency projects, which is a veritable source of corruption? These constituency projects are spread over the budget for members of the National Assembly, for which they are the initiator and the contractor, directly or by proxy, and money will be fully drawn, with the project only partially executed or not executed at all. The National Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system. Members of the National Assembly pay themselves allowances for staff and offices they do not have or maintain. Once you are a member, you are co-opted, and your mouth is stuffed with rottenness and corruption that you cannot opt out, as you go home with not less than 15 million naira a month for a senator and 10 million naira a month for a member of House of Representatives. The National Assembly is a den of corruption by a gang of unarmed robbers.
That is Baba there. The National Assembly is a den of corruption. He said a gang of unarmed robbers. Baba, they are armed. They are not unarmed. They are armed. They are armed with the Constitution. The Constitution gives them the power of appropriation. So they are armed with that Constitution. And they use it to wreak havoc on the majority. Is it just? It is a collaboration between the executive and the legislature. Yes. Shola, I want to listen to Obasanjo again.
Project pardon must not go unpunished. It is a reality which is a regular and systemic practice. Nobody should pull wool over the eyes of Nigerians. Ganging up to intimidate this and threaten the life of whistleblower is deplorable and undemocratic. What of the so-called constituency projects, which is a veritable source of corruption? These constituency projects are spread over the budget for members of the National Assembly, for which they are the initiator and the contractor, directly or by proxy, and money will be fully drawn, with the project only partially executed or not executed at all. The National Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system. Members of the National Assembly pay themselves allowances for staff and offices they do not have or maintain. Once you are a member, you are co-opted, and your mouth is stuffed with rottenness and corruption that you cannot opt out, as you go home with not less than 15 million naira a month for a senator and 10 million naira a month for a member of House of Representatives. The National Assembly is a den of corruption by a gang of unarmed robbers.
The National Assembly. Okay. We have a gang of elite. They have banded together. PDP, they are together. And it seems they have sworn an oath to wreak havoc on the majority. Obasanjo spoke at a time he hasn't gotten this worse. See, by the day the rot is increasing. The rot is appreciating. They become more daring as they go. The collaboration between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. These arms of government have become more daring. The executive, the legislature, the judiciary. These organs of government have become more daring. They are saying, go to hell. Neo Shudari writes in the poem, "My Lord, tell me where to keep your bribe." It is in the collection of the book Snap Songs, Homegrowns and Foreign Flares, Volume 1, the collection of Neo Shudari's poems, Snap Songs. My Lord, please tell me where to keep your bribe. Do I drop it in your venerable chambers, or carry the heavy booty to your immaculate mansion? Shall I bury it in the capacious water tank? In your well-laundered backyard? Or will it breathe better in the septic tank? Since money can deodorize the smelliest crime. Since money can deodorize the smelliest crime. Since money can deodorize the smelliest crime. Okay? Akpabio is the Senate president. In Buhari's time, he was the minister of the Niger Delta. And he was invited to the National Assembly. See corruption in action. Let's go back to the National Assembly, the House of Reps, to be precise, when Akpabio was the minister of Niger Delta Affairs.
Niger Delta Development Commission, because of the fact that we are doing forensic audit, the NDDC plays a vital role in ensuring the peace and security of the region. And 90% or more of the resources of the country on a monthly basis comes from there. If you close it down in totality, all you have will be chaos. And you have a lot of, not just militancy, but you have a lot of insurrection. So it is important that people who have gone to court, people who genuinely did jobs, should be paid for their jobs. So for me, I'm not against it because of course, who are even the greatest beneficiaries? It's two people now.
Okay.
Because if you look at your chairman,
Okay, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, that's okay. That's okay.
Now,
Can I ask you that question? What is the benefit that the National Assembly is benefiting from?
It's okay, it's okay.
Are you asking me the benefit of National Assembly?
Yes, you just said.
I just told you that we have record to show that most of the contracts in NDDC are given out to members of National Assembly, but you don't know about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
The two chairmen can explain to you. That is why I was a member. I was a member of the NDDC committee.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wait, you were a member of the NDDC and lot of you were a member of the NDDC in the 8th Assembly, and are you telling me that lots of jobs were awarded to you as a member?
No, this is a problem. That's why I said you
Then
must.
you have the right to accuse people. Then why can't you bring up
Can you please
people
listen
that?
to me? One of the chairmen
If
also.
you were not awarded a contract, then why are you coming here that you are aware that you were a member of the NDDC and lots of contracts were awarded to you? You said I'm not aware. I'm telling you that. Bring up those days.
May I inform my honorable sister that is why we have to change.
Honorable Minister, please. It's okay. That is okay. That is okay.
But let me explain.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Let me explain.
It's okay.
Now.
It's okay.
You must not allow the two chairmen
It's
to
okay.
handle the budget every
It's
year.
okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
Off
your mic, Honorable Minister.
You are like me. I was a member like you. I did not know what was going on.
Honorable Minister.
Yes,
it's
Mr.
okay.
Chairman, sir. Yes, Chairman.
It's okay. You guys sit down. Sit down. Sit down. It's okay. Coco.
That was Akpabio revealing to the world that most of the contracts in NDDC were awarded to the members of the House of Reps. And that was the NDDC they were meant to oversight. That was the NDDC they were meant to check. You see why they cannot check anything? Akpabio told us that they were the ones getting the contract. Akpabio is not the Senate president. I don't want to go into the details of the budget. I don't want to go into all that at the moment. You saw the large chunk of money they distributed to themselves, all in the name of constituency project. How can that National Assembly check the executive? It can't. It has lost that power to check. The checker. Something will happen. I don't know when. But it will happen. Fellow countrymen and women, we need men and women who are long-term thinkers. Those who put heavy emphasis on vision. Men and women who put emphasis on values. Men and women who can motivate the people to innovation. We need them as leaders. We need political leaders who have strong people skills and don't accept the status quo. It is clear, it is obvious, Nigeria has in abundance political elites banding together to wreak havoc on the largest majority. Perhaps they have taken an oath to ensure that the country is covered in a blanket of poverty and violence. But I need to make this point at this time. Yes, you can continue to complain about the continuous, unabated, and unprecedented budget padding involving the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. As you mourn the unbearable excesses of the political leadership, what are your dreams of the future? Are you seeing the big picture? Are you personally painting a part of it? Are you being compelled to make a mark on the future of Nigeria through the forces of your own ideas? Are you? What are you seeing through the forces of your imagination? What do you see? Do you see darkness or light? What do you see? But let me make this point. What you see is partly what brings frustration and dejection to your life. What you see is mostly what brings hope, happiness, and progress to your life. Your vision of Nigeria is a product of your thought processes. No doubt, there are obstacles, but the obstacles are surmountable. What do you see? Let's go on X. Let me know what those on X see. Are you on X? We are streaming on X. We are streaming on Facebook. We are streaming on YouTube, all on Edmond Obilo's pages. So if you are on X, you can come to my page. If you are on Facebook, come to Edmond Obilo's page on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? Come on Splash FM Facebook page. Yes, I know you are on Facebook. So you can come to State Affairs page on Facebook. We are streaming on State Affairs app. So go on Google Play Store, download the app. Go on Apple Store, download the app. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo on Google Play Store, on Apple Store. I hope the internet connectivity has improved. I hope so. Saw how the nation was shut down. Does that tell you anything? That Africa must begin to think independently. America can shut us out. Sometimes that is why they manipulate our leaders. They control the structures. It's only China that is capable of rivaling them. You can see the fight in the US Congress to make sure TikTok is held to ransom. Africa is not playing in this game. We are just consuming. You saw what happened. The system shut down. You could not make bank transfer. These guys can shut us down anytime. And we are in trouble. We need men of vision who will be thinking to say, no, Nigeria can create its own structures the way China is creating hers. We can create our own internet structures. We can manufacture our phones. You see, American government can order Google and Apple to remove your app from their store. I knew what I had to go through to make sure State Affairs app was on Apple Store. Different conditions, so they can take it out anytime. And I'm telling my guy, I said, let's create something. Let's create a backbone. Let's create a system for Africa. With America holding on to this system, they can hold us to ransom. They can threaten Tinubu, and Tinubu will bow. They are holding your money. They can seize your wealth. Because you are banking, when you say national wealth, Nigeria's reserve, your reserve is with them. They can just take it immediately. Why? You can see we are saying dollar, as if we are using dollar. They use the dollar to control your economy. Hey, visionary men and women, wake up. Little child listening to me, I'm talking to you. Africa is in a hole. We need to come out of that hole. Yes, we can. Not these guys in the National Assembly. They're not thinking. They're not thinking. Many of the governors are not thinking. They are not visionaries. They just love power for power's sake. You know, power is meant to redeem society, to redefine society, to put society on the pedestal of development. Awolowo knew what to do with power. Power is value. Lee Kuan Yew knew what to do with power. Hey. It is not whether democracy, military. It's about vision, knowing what to do with power. Africa has produced some of the worst leaders. Have you heard of one man called Masias Nguema? I'm going to tell you the story of Masias Nguema next week. You know, Equatorial Guinea is about 20 minutes flight from Calabar. You see Equatorial Guinea there. That small country. Equatorial Guinea had a leader called Masias Nguema. He was so reckless that the CBN governor went to warn him, sir, with the way you are spending money, the central bank has no cash anymore. You know what he did to the CBN governor? He publicly executed him. You've not heard of Masias Nguema? The members of the National Assembly are becoming the Nguemas. And the National Assembly would not have padded the budget without the support of Tinubu. You know, collect your own. You get your own. Let everywhere calm down. Let's share this thing. They are sharing. If they were sharing progress, there would not be poverty in the land. You know, this padding started from Obasanjo's time. In Jonathan's time, it wasn't. In Buhari's time, Buhari just became helpless. Saraki and Co. held him to ransom in the first 4 years. So it has become a tradition. So at the end of the day, you see that we will not buy generators Okada everywhere. When leaders are thinking of speed rail lines, our senators are buying Okadas everywhere. That is the kind of vision they have. Keke Napep. When they should have public water system that works, they are putting boreholes that will only work for 6 months. Masias Nguema. So when you say your senator, hey, senator, do you know Masias Nguema? Are you one of them? He was the first president of Equatorial Guinea. You know, Equatorial Guinea had independence in 1970. But from 1968, Spain was already preparing Nguema for leadership. You know, he made his nephew, Theodore Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, he made his nephew the head of the security arm to protect him. In fact, he brought all his family members into the presidency. He became too brutal that his family members were scared that he would feed them to lions. He was killing for fun until his nephew that he brought in overthrew him in a military coup and publicly executed him. That his cousin is still the leader. He overthrew Nguema in 1979. He's still the leader of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is one of the poorest countries in the world. By the time Spain handed over to Nguema in 1970, Equatorial Guinea had one of the biggest GDP in Africa. Within 4 years, they destroyed everything. Like South African blacks are destroying what the whites built. ANC guys now, they are messing up South Africa. You now begin to say, is it the personality of the black man? But soon, let's look for Tunde Adeniran, former Minister of Education. You know, when I was discussing his book, Africa's Security Challenges in the 21st Century, Power, Principles, and Praxis in Global Politics, you know, the analysis he gave in this incisive work, I just had no option but to ask Prof, is it about the African personality? Because if you go to Kenya, you still see the same character playing out. Just that those ones they are a bit cautious. The politicians in Kenya are a bit cautious. The ones in Tanzania, the most brutal politicians in Africa are the ones in Nigeria. Soon they will sell the National Assembly. They will sell the building if we get to that point. They will not put that building on sale. They will sell it. They will privatize the National Assembly building and sell it to themselves. We are going to get to that point, but it won't allow it. Is it about the African personality? Tunde Adeniran on State Affairs. As we speak, there is crisis in the Congo. There is crisis in Sudan. In fact, there is a war going on in Sudan. South Sudan is unstable. Ethiopia just came out of a recent civil war. In Mali, terrorists are holding more than half of the country's territory. Same in Burkina Faso. There is Al-Shabaab in Somalia. In Nigeria, Boko Haram is dominant around the Lake Chad Basin. And you can see, even from independence, there has been this consistent insecurity in Africa. Is it connected to the African personality?
It won't be right to say that it is connected with the African personality. We inherited certain disadvantages quite all right, because I gave two examples. The way we were merged, left and right. The way nationalities were broken, and the way people that ordinarily do not have identical cultural backgrounds were forced to come together under some nations or some states and so forth. This came suddenly from the colonial fiat. If it had grown as a result of common understanding, working together, the way some African communities, societies were doing in the past, building empire, we had our own empires in the past, there were nation states in the past, but because of the force, the imperial force that created artificial boundaries, different people were wedded together, and in an attempt to now find ways of working together and so forth, the colonials used that as instrument to come, hey, you people, they know that wedge, they continue to put it behind. That is one. Then the other one, of course, is religion. Religion was introduced as a way of making people have faith in the Almighty God. But the way it was introduced was such that it has grown and germinated and became one of the forces and factors creating problem instead of serving as a rallying point for or even development, for understanding, for having common concern for humanity. It has turned out to be a negative thing. The various countries that you mentioned earlier on, yes, it is easy to just conclude that, look, we are having this in the Congo Republic, we are having this in all these other countries, Sudan, Somalia, and all that. It must be something wrong with Africa. What is wrong with Africa is that we have not been able to fully appreciate the dimensions of the problem that we have and also take necessary steps to address those problems. Addressing those problems will mean appreciation of what the problems really are and then taking the right steps. I do believe that we have in this continent leaders who are mindful of their responsibility, leaders who are mindful of what they owe the coming generations and the opportunity that they now have to address the problems facing us so that we will be able to solve them for now and prevent future occurrences. I will say two things in this regard. Now, what has been going on without the interference of outsiders? Take the Congo, for example. The mineral resources in that place are enough to make that particular country dominate the entire world. So endowed. You talk about Nigeria too. I do not know of any country in the world that is as endowed as Nigeria. But look at where we are today.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
That's Professor Tunde Adeniro, a professor of political science and a former minister of education in Nigeria. He is the author of the book Africa's Security Challenges in the 21st Century, Power Principles and Praxis in Global Politics. You can get this book on udarabooks.com, or you contact me on WhatsApp 080 18449. That's my WhatsApp number if you are interested in Tunde Adeniro's book, Africa's Security Challenges in the 21st Century. And I want you to read these exciting poems written by Professor Nii Oshudari, Snap Songs. You will love the collections. Oshudari is the father of poetry. Yes, you can get this work on udarabooks.com, and you can contact me on my WhatsApp number if you are interested in a copy. Snap Songs, Homegrowns and Foreign Flares, Volume 1. You will find poems like My Lord, Tell Me Where to Keep Your Bribe, poems like June 12 and Its Children, Third Term Blues. You want to read that poem? Get Snap Song, The Leader and the Led, currently on YX syllabus. You want to read that? Great poetry here. Snap Song series. There's this book here, The Word for Sale. I wish I could write one and title it Nigeria for Sale. The Word for Sale, Money, Power, and the Traders Who Batter the Earth's Resources. I'll tell you more about this book after this break. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Edmondo Bilo is here. Stay tuned.